My crazy one-night stand turned out to be the boss of the biggest underworld mafia. Now cops are after me. Trigger warning, mild violence. His mouth was on mine before I could even think. Rough, hungry, demanding. Damn. I barely had time to breathe before his hands were on me, gripping my waist, pulling me flush against him like he needed me closer, like he wanted to devour me. And God, I let him. I pressed into him, heat sparking in my veins, fingers tangling in his hair as I kissed him back just as hard. I didn't even know his name. Didn't care. All I knew was the way he felt. Solid, warm, dangerous. His body against mine, the scent of something dark and expensive on his skin, the low sound he made when I bit his lip. Hell, I wanted this. I needed this. The club was loud, bodies moving around us, but none of it mattered. It was just him. His hands, his mouth, the way he grabbed me like he wasn't used to being told no. His lips dragged down my jaw, his breath hot against my ear. Let's go. My pulse hammered. I should have hesitated, should have at least thought about it. But I was already nodding, already following him through the crowd like I belonged to him. And maybe for tonight, I did. About half an hour later, the door barely clicked shut before he was on me again. His hands hit my waist, shoving me back against the wall, his body pressing into mine. Hard, solid, needing. His mouth was everywhere, my lips, my jaw, down my neck, hot and open, teeth scraping, tongue soothing. I gasped, fingers digging into his shoulders. Damn. He kissed like he wanted to ruin me, like he didn't just want this. He needed it. I felt the sharp edge of his teeth against my throat, a slow drag of lips right after, and my knees buckled. He caught me easily, one strong arm around my waist, the other slightly slipping under my shirt. His palm was warm against my skin, sliding up, slow, teasing, like he wanted to take his time driving me insane. Bed, I gasped. That damn smirk pressed against my neck. You sure? I grabbed a fistful of his shirt and yanked him toward me. Shut up and move. And he did. The next second we were crashing through my apartment, hands tearing at clothes, mouths locked like we'd never get enough. My back hit the bed, and he was on me, knees pressing my thighs apart, hands gripping, claiming, owning. His gaze dragged over me, those sharp green eyes dark, burning. Shit. Hearing him curse in that low, rough voice did something to me. Sent heat straight to my core, made my breath hitch, made my body ache for more. I reached up, fingers tangling in his hair, pulling him down until our mouths crashed together again. Hot, desperate, perfect. And then he showed me exactly what it meant to belong to him for the night. The next morning, I woke up to pounding. Not the good kind, the loud, headache-splitting kind that made me groan and bury my face deeper into the pillow. God, what the hell time was it? My head was a mess. Sleep hazy, body still aching in the best way from last night. Shit, last night. My skin burned just thinking about it. The way he touched me. The way he... Bang, bang, bang! Police, open up! My stomach dropped. I shot up so fast I nearly fell off the bed. Cops? At my door? My brain scrambled, trying to piece together what could possibly... Oh, shit. I turned, but the other side of the bed was empty. Sheets rumpled, but no sign of him. My chest tightened. He left, slipped out without a word. And now the cops were here. I stumbled out of bed, yanking on sweatpants, heart pounding like a war drum. This had to be a mistake. A noise complaint? A mix-up? Something stupid? I yanked open the door, blinking against the harsh light, and froze. 2 officers, stern faces. One of them lifted a photo, eyes sharp as he watched my reaction. Do you know this man? I looked, and my blood turned to ice. It was him. Messy red hair, sharp green eyes, that same smirk that had me weak-kneed last night. Only in this picture, he wasn't leaning over me, wasn't pressed against me, wasn't making me moan into his mouth. No, this was a mugshot, and underneath, a name that meant nothing to me, except for the words printed in bold right beside it. Maximilian Moretti, suspected leader of the most powerful crime syndicate in the city. I swallowed hard. My pulse roared in my ears. I had just slept with the freaking Mafia king, and the cops thought I was involved. Later that day, I ran. I didn't pack, didn't think, didn't even breathe properly. Just grabbed my keys, yanked on a hoodie, and got the hell out of my apartment before the cops could come back with more questions I couldn't answer. The city blurred around me. Bright neon, wet pavement, my pulse pounding louder than the cars rushing by. I didn't know where I was going. Just away. Away from cops. Away from him. Jesus, I couldn't believe this. One night, one reckless decision, and now I was tangled up with the Mafia. The actual freaking Mafia. I felt sick. My skin was clammy, adrenaline crashing through me in waves. I needed to disappear, lay low, figure out how to scrub this whole mess off me before it sank in any deeper. But as I turned down a quiet street, a black car slid up to the curb beside me. My stomach dropped. The back door swung open, and before I could react, two strong hands grabbed me. I barely had time to gasp before I was shoved inside. The door slammed shut. The tires screeched, and then a voice. Low, smooth, dangerous. You really thought you could run from me, Jamie? Fuck! A few minutes later, the air inside the car was thick, too quiet, too charged. I pressed back against the leather seat, every muscle in my body wound tight as Maximilian sat across from me, watching. Just watching. His green eyes flicked over me, slow, unreadable, but heavy, like he was deciding exactly what to do with me. I forced myself to swallow. Listen, I don't know what's going on, but I swear, shut up. I did, instantly. He leaned forward, elbows resting on his knees, voice eerily calm. I let you go this morning. Gave you the chance to stay put. His fingers tapped against his thigh. And yet, here we are. Heat curled in my stomach. Fear, anger, something else I didn't want to name. You think I wanted to run? My voice was hoarse. I woke up to the cops at my door. They showed me your fucking mugshot. What was I supposed to do? Wait for them to drag me in? His jaw ticked. If you'd stayed, I would have handled it. I let out a sharp, bitter laugh. Oh, right, because trusting a Mafia boss to keep me safe makes so much sense. The second the words left my mouth, I regretted them. Maximilian's expression didn't change, but his eyes, heck, his eyes, turned sharp as a blade. Then he moved. 1 second he was across from me. The next he was right there. One hand braced on the seat beside my head, the other curling around my jaw. Not tight, not hurting, but firm, unyielding. You are safe, Jamie, he murmured, voice like silk over steel. But you're mine now. My breath caught. You don't run from me, his thumb brushed over my cheek, deceptively gentle. You don't hide from me. His grip tightened just slightly, enough to make my pulse skyrocket. And you sure as fuck don't try to disappear. My chest rose and fell, too fast, too uneven. You can't just... I can. His lips tilted in something close to amusement, but his eyes stayed cold. And I have. I should have fought, should have pulled away, should have done something. But I didn't. Because despite the fear, despite the chaos spinning around me, there was something else curling right in my stomach. Something dangerously close to want. And from the way Maximilian was looking at me, I had a feeling he knew it. A day later, I was supposed to be terrified, and I was. At least I should have been. Because I was sitting in a penthouse that wasn't mine, in clothes I didn't pick, sipping expensive whiskey I didn't even like, while across from me, lounging in his stupidly expensive chair like he owned the world, Maximilian Moretti watched me like I was a puzzle he was trying to figure out. No, not a puzzle. Something his. I swallowed hard, gripping the glass tighter. Are you going to keep staring at me all night, or do you actually have a reason for kidnapping me? His lips twitched, amused. Kidnapping is such a strong word, Jamie. Not when I was thrown into a car and brought here against my will. His green eyes gleamed. If it were truly against your will, you'd be fighting harder. My whole body tensed. Excuse me? Maximilian leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees. His voice was smooth, but there was something dangerous beneath it. You could have run the second I let you out of that car. You didn't. I opened my mouth, closed it. Shit. I hated that he was right. I hated even more that I didn't know why. But what scared me the most? The way he was still looking at me. Like I wasn't just some loose end. Like I meant something. And I didn't know what the hell to do with that. A week later, I should have expected it. The way my life was going, of course I'd end up stuck in a car with Maximilian in the middle of a rainstorm. The city blurred past, neon lights smudging in the downpour. The low hum of the car the only sound between us. I shifted uncomfortably, arms crossed tight. I could feel him watching me. What? I muttered, glaring at my reflection in the window. A beat of silence. Then, you're shaking. I stiffened. I'm fine. You're cold. No shit, Sherlock. Maybe don't drag people out in the middle of the... A heavy weight settled around my shoulders before I could finish. I blinked. Looked down. He just draped his coat over me. Expensive, warm, smelled like him. My stomach twisted. My fingers curled into the fabric before I could stop them, pulling it tighter around me. Maximilian said nothing. Didn't smirk, didn't gloat, just kept driving. Eyes on the road like it was the most natural thing in the world to give me his coat. Like he cared. And that was dangerous. Because I could handle fear. I could handle anger. But this was something I didn't know how to fight. 2 weeks later, I was tired of pretending. Of pretending I didn't notice the way Maximilian looked at me. The way his gaze always found me first in a room. Like he needed to make sure I was okay before anything else. I was tired of pretending I didn't feel it too. Because I did. And right now, with him standing so close, heat radiating off him, green eyes locked on mine like I was the only thing that mattered. I felt it more than ever. You don't have to be afraid of me, he murmured. I swallowed. You say that like you're not the most dangerous man I've ever met. His lips twitched, but his voice stayed soft. I won't hurt you, Jamie. And fuck. The way he said my name. Low, careful, like it actually meant something to him. I was in trouble. I should have walked away. Should have pushed past him. Should have done anything but stand there. Heartbeat loud in my ears. But I didn't. Because for the first time since this whole mess started, I wasn't sure I wanted to. A few days later, Maximilian and I were alone. Again. The others had cleared out, leaving just the two of us on the penthouse balcony. The city stretched out below us, glittering and alive, but all I could focus on was him. The way the wind tousled his hair, the way the moonlight made his green eyes look softer, less dangerous. You're staring, he said, looking away from his whiskey. I huffed, leaning on the railing. You love the attention. He smirked. Only when it's yours. And damn it, why did that make my chest tighten? Why did my pulse stutter just a little too hard at the way he said it? All quiet and casual, like it wasn't the most dangerous thing he'd ever admitted. I turned back to the skyline, trying to pretend his words didn't settle somewhere deep. You know this can't last forever, right? He hummed, taking a low sip of whiskey. Why not? I swallowed. I could have given 100 reasons. Because we came from different worlds, because I was supposed to be running, because no one survived a life like this. But I didn't say any of that. Because the truth? Right now, standing next to him, the city buzzing beneath us, the whole world quiet except for the sound of his breathing. I didn't want to leave. And that scared me more than anything. A week later, I don't even remember how it started. One second we were sitting on the couch, and the next we were tangled up in a stupid wrestling match. "You fight like a 5-year-old!" I grunted, struggling under his weight. Maximilian just grinned, his hands pinning mine above my head. "And yet you're still losing. You're cheating. Call it strategy." I squirmed, twisting, trying to buck him off, but he was too strong, too solid. His body pressed against mine, warm and unyielding, and suddenly, I wasn't thinking about winning anymore. His smirk faded, his grip loosened just slightly. Neither of us moved. His breath was warm against my cheek, his eyes searching mine like he was waiting for something, like he was waiting for me. And for half a second, I almost gave in. I almost let myself reach up, close the space between us, admit what I'd been too stubborn to say out loud. But then he let go, and I scrambled up like I wasn't seconds away from making the worst or best decision of my life. Maximilian just leaned back, eyes still locked on me, lips twitching like he knew exactly what almost happened. And maybe he did. Maybe I did too. I just wasn't ready to admit it yet. A few nights later, I caught myself watching him again. We were in his office this time. He was focused on something. Probably some deadly illegal bullshit, but I wasn't paying attention to the papers in front of him. I was too busy looking at him. At the way he rolled his sleeves up when he worked. At the slight furrow between his brows. The way he held his pen. Light but precise, like he controlled everything, even the smallest movements. And the thought hit me out of nowhere. Maybe staying wouldn't be so bad. I could picture it. Waking up next to him every morning, knowing he was mine. Late nights in this office, him working, me curled up on the couch. Maybe it wouldn't be perfect, but maybe it could be enough. Maybe... no. I shut the thought down fast, shaking my head. This wasn't normal. This wasn't some love story. This was him. Maximilian. The Mafia King. The reason I'd been running in the first place. I couldn't fall for him. I wouldn't. But as I forced myself to look away, my chest tight, my heart racing, I knew. It was already too late. A few weeks later, I stared at the burner phone in my hand like it was a live grenade. The cop's voice still echoed in my head. Help us bring him down, and we'll wipe your record clean. Walk away free. Free. That word should have felt like a life raft. Should have made this choice easy. But it wasn't. Because across the dimly lit penthouse, Maximilian stood by the window, phone in one hand, glass of whiskey in the other, discussing something in low, clipped Italian. Something dangerous. Something that, if I said the word, the cops would have him in cuffs before morning. My stomach twisted, my fingers clenched around the phone. This was my chance. My only chance. I could walk away, get my life back, be safe. But safety meant betrayal. It meant turning in the man who had kept me alive when he could have let me burn. The man who could have killed me 12 times over, but instead made sure I ate, I slept, made sure I didn't get caught in the crossfire of the war circling around him. The man who looked at me like I was more than just a liability, more than just a loose end, like I was his. I sucked in a shaky breath. My pulse was a mess, my head screaming at me to do it. And then, you're thinking too loud. I jolted. Maximilian was looking at me now. His phone was gone. The whiskey glass abandoned. Just him, standing there. Sharp green eyes cutting through me like he already knew. Shit. My throat went dry. Don't lie to me. His voice was quiet, even. But there was an edge to it. Something sharp and unreadable. The silence stretched. Thick. Suffocating. And then, softer. More dangerous. Are you going to run, Jamie? My whole body went still. Because this wasn't just about the cops anymore. This was him. Asking me to make a choice. And God help me. I didn't know if I could betray him, even if it destroyed me. 2 days later, I thought I was being careful. I thought I was smart. The burner phone was hidden. My escape plan was airtight. I knew where to go, who to call, how to vanish. One more night. That was all I needed. One more night. And I'd be out of this mess. Or so I thought. Because when I stepped into the penthouse, heart racing, hands shaking, Maximilian was already waiting. Sitting in the armchair like a king on a throne, his legs crossed, fingers steepled under his chin. Silent, still, but his eyes? His eyes pinned me where I stood. I swallowed hard, forced myself to keep walking, forced my voice to stay even. Didn't know you'd be back early. Didn't know you were leaving. The air turned thick, heavy. My stomach twisted. Leaving? I forced a dry laugh. I don't know what you're... Don't. Just one word. Low. Calm. Final. My breath stuttered. Maximilian stood, moving toward me slowly, like a predator circling prey. I let you stay. I let you breathe. I kept you safe. His voice was smooth. Too smooth. And this is what you do with that freedom? I clenched my jaw, my pulse thundering. I never asked for your protection. Something flickered across his face. Something dark. Something that looked too much like hurt. Didn't you? He murmured. The floor felt unsteady beneath me. This wasn't the reaction I expected. I'd been prepared for rage, for threats, for violence. But this? This quiet, disappointed Maximilian? That was worse. So much worse. I opened my mouth, shut it. Because what the fuck was I supposed to say? Sorry I was planning to run? Sorry I don't know what the hell I'm doing anymore? Sorry that when you look at me like that I can't breathe? I said nothing. And Maximilian? He just nodded once, like he'd already heard my answer. Then he turned away, leaving me standing there, heart hammering, hating the way I suddenly felt like the villain in this story. Later that night, I lay there staring at the ceiling, the weight of it all pressing down on my chest like a damn boulder. Maximilian was asleep next to me, if he ever really slept. He looked peaceful in the low light, his red hair a mess against the pillow, his breathing slow, steady. Like he wasn't the most dangerous man I'd ever met. Like he wasn't the reason my entire life had flipped upside down. I turned onto my side, watching him, and something twisted in my gut. I was in too deep, somewhere between running for my life and getting tangled in his world. I'd done the one thing I swore I wouldn't. I'd let him in, let myself believe, even for a second, that this could be something real, that I could have him without losing myself. But I knew better. There was no future here. Not for me, not with him. Because loving Maximilian meant living in the shadows. It meant looking over my shoulder forever, wondering which night would be our last. And I couldn't do that. I couldn't be that person. I exhaled, rolling onto my back again, my pulse a mess. Today, this was it. A little more time and I'd be gone. Out of his reach. Away from the danger, the chaos. Away from him. I told myself it was the right thing to do. That if I stayed any longer, I'd drown. That this was survival. But as I closed my eyes, listening to the quiet sound of his breathing, one thought whispered through my head, soft and cruel and impossible to ignore. Then why does it feel like you're breaking your own heart? An hour later, I needed to get out. Now. I didn't know how much Maximilian knew, or what he'd do with that knowledge. But I couldn't stay. Not after the way he'd looked at me. Not after the way my chest had twisted like I'd done something wrong by trying to survive. I grabbed my bag, the burner phone. My heart was a mess, hands shaking as I moved. But I did. I had to. The airport was right there. Just past the security lines, past the gates, past the promise of a one-way ticket to freedom. I gripped my duffel tight, my fingers damp with sweat. Every instinct screamed at me to move faster, but I forced myself to stay calm. Rushing would get me noticed. Panic would get me caught. I was so close. One more hour and I'd be gone. No more Maximilian, No more cops, no more running. I took another step forward, and then the world cracked apart.
Jamie Calloway! Stop where you are!
The words slammed into me like a gunshot. No. Red and blue lights strobed against the airport windows. Shouts, heavy footsteps. People gasping, scrambling out of the way. And cops. Everywhere. Blocking the doors, closing in, weapons drawn. My stomach plummeted. My vision tunneled.
Move, Jamie!
I turned on my heel, ready to bolt.
Down, now!
Too late. A body slammed into me from behind, driving me forward. My knees cracked against the pavement, pain flaring up my legs. Cold, hard weight crushed me into the ground.
Don't fight it!
A voice barked above me, hands shoving my arms behind my back. Metal snapped around my wrists. Tight, unforgiving. Handcuffs. Real. No way out. A sharp breath rattled through my chest. The concrete was freezing. The world buzzed around me, distant, unreal. I'd lost. I wasn't flying anywhere except straight to a jail cell. A few hours later, jail fucking sucks. The cell stinks like sweat and bleach, the cot is stiff as hell, and the fluorescent lights buzz so loud they make my teeth itch. It's been days, or maybe just hours? I don't even know anymore. Time moves weird in here. And Maximilian? Nowhere. Not a whisper, not a call, not a goddamn thing. Guess that answers that. He's not coming. And why would he? I was a problem. A loose end. Letting me sit in the cell, letting the cops throw the book at me? That was the easiest solution. I was stupid to think he'd care enough to do anything about it. A guard stomps past my cell, keys jangling. Better get comfortable, Calloway, he sneers. You'll be here a long time. I roll onto my side, staring at the cracked ceiling. Maybe I deserve that. Somewhere after midnight, the first sign that something's wrong is the alarm. Loud, jarring, cutting through the stale air like a war cry. Then, boom! The whole building shakes. Dust rains from the ceiling. Yelling erupts down the hall. Guards shouting. Inmates hollering. Footsteps pounding against the floor. I sit up fast, my pulse jackhammering. What the fuck? The lights flicker. The ground trembles again. And then, gunfire. Panic explodes through the cell block. Someone grabs the bars, screaming. The guards start barking orders, but it's too late. Chaos has already taken over. My heart slams against my ribs as I push to my feet, gripping the cold metal of my cot. This isn't just some riot. This is a war zone. A shadow moves past the bars, a man in all black. Not a guard, not a cop. A soldier. And then, I know. Maximilian. Holy shit. The alarms, the explosions, the chaos. This is him. He came for me. My stomach twists, my head spinning. Why? Why the fuck would he do this? He could have walked away. He should have walked away. But instead, he's tearing the entire city apart for me. And there's no stopping it now. No going back. We're both criminals after this. Both fucked. I press my forehead to the bars, my breath coming fast. What the hell have I gotten myself into? Almost dawn. The safe house is cold, quiet. It's the first time in hours that the world isn't on fire. I sit on the edge of the couch, knees bouncing, my hands still shaking from everything. The jailbreak, the gunfire, the fucking helicopters. Maximilian moves in front of me, silent, like he's waiting for me to say something. I stare at him, at the blood on his shirt, not his, at the crease between his brows, the tension in his jaw. And then it hits me. He should have let me rot. He should have walked away. He didn't. Because this isn't just about control. It's not just about power. It's about me. I swallowed hard. You could have left me. Maximilian tilts his head. I don't leave what's mine. My chest tightens. I hate how much that gets to me. I should be pissed. I should be fucking terrified. But all I can think is, I don't want him to leave either. And now, it's too late for both of us. The next day, the private jet hums beneath my feet, smooth and steady, cutting through the night sky like a ghost. The city, the life I knew, is gone. Just a shrinking blur of lights below us, swallowed by the dark. And me, I should feel something. Guilt, fear, some kind of grief for the life I just left behind. But all I feel is him. Maximilian sits across from me, one arm draped over the leather seat, watching me with that quiet intensity that always makes my stomach flip. I exhale sharply and shake my head. You're insane, you know that? He smirks, lazy and way too pleased with himself. For getting you out? For burning half the damn city to do it. He doesn't deny it, just shrugs like it wasn't a big deal. Like breaking me out of jail, dodging cops, stealing cars, and getting us the fuck out of the country was just another day in his world. And maybe it was. Maybe it is. My fingers tighten around the whiskey glass in my hand. So where are we going? Somewhere safe. I snort. Nowhere safe, Max. His green eyes flicker in the low cabin light. He leans forward, resting his elbows on his knees, his voice softer this time. It is if you're with me. My throat tightens. This is dangerous. Not just because of the cops or the enemies waiting for us on the other side of the ocean, but because what he means to me. I shouldn't trust him. I shouldn't want him. But I do. And there's no going back now. I set the whiskey down, then shift across the cabin until I'm in front of him. I don't think. I don't hesitate. I just kiss him. His hand comes up, fingers curling into my hair, pulling me deeper, like he's claiming me all over again. And maybe he is. Maybe I am his now. Maybe I always was. The plane dips slightly, and when we break apart, Maximilian's lips twitch. Better get some rest. I arch a brow. You're worried about me sleeping now? He smirks. We've got a long life ahead of us. A long life. Together. I exhale, shaking my head, but for the first time in what feels like forever, I smile. Because yeah, maybe I'm an outlaw now. Maybe I'm on the run with the most dangerous man I've ever met. But I made my choice, and I'd make it again. Because in the end, it was never about right or wrong. It was about him, and wherever he's going, I'm going too. Conclusion, 2 years. Some days it still feels unreal. Like I'll wake up back in my old life. Like all of this was just some insane fever dream. But then I roll over and Maximilian is right there, warm and real, his red hair messy, his arm draped over me like he's still afraid I'll disappear. We're in Italy now. A new name, a new life. It's not always perfect, danger still lurks in the shadows, whispers of the past never fully gone, but it's ours. And somehow, despite everything, I'm happy. Because I didn't just run away. I ran to him. And wherever we go next, whatever the future holds, I know one thing for sure. I wouldn't change a damn thing. The end. Be honest. Do you sometimes desire a chaotic, life-changing adventure like Jamie for yourself too? Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to become a part of our Rainbow Force and stay wholesome!